The possibility of Russia buying back the S-400 air defense systems it once sold to Turkey has sparked intense debate across defense and diplomatic circles, underscoring how weapons sales can ripple far beyond the battlefield and into the heart of global geopolitics. The S-400 deal, struck in 2017 between Ankara and Moscow, was one of the most consequential defense transactions of the decade. For Turkey, it was framed as a sovereign decision to secure one of the world's most advanced surface-to-air missile systems after years of frustration with Western suppliers. For Russia, it was a landmark success in arms exports, placing a highly advanced system inside a NATO country and driving a wedge between Ankara and Washington. The delivery of the systems in 2019 marked a historic break in Turkey's defense relations with its Western allies, leading to Ankara's expulsion from the F-35 fighter jet program and triggering U.S. sanctions under the Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act, CAATSA. Today, as reports circulate about a potential Russian buyback of those same systems, the implications are profound. For Moscow, reacquiring the S-400s could yield both practical and symbolic benefits. On the military front, redeploying the systems would allow Russia to strengthen its layered air defense network, whether along its western borders near Ukraine, across the Arctic, or in contested theaters like the Middle East. Strategically, it would represent a demonstration of adaptability. Russia could portray the buyback not as a failure, but as a maneuver that regains valuable hardware while deepening influence over Ankara's defense trajectory. For Moscow, such flexibility reinforces the idea that arms deals are not one-way transactions but tools of political leverage, adaptable to evolving circumstances. For Turkey, the calculus is even more complex. The S-400 purchase was once a statement of independence, signaling Ankara's frustration with its NATO partners, particularly over U.S. reluctance to provide Patriot missile systems on favorable terms. Yet the acquisition came at a heavy cost, isolating Turkey from key Western defense programs and straining its alliance commitments. A buyback could present a path to mend fences with Washington, potentially reopening discussions about access to next-generation aircraft, missile defense cooperation, or renewed trust within NATO's integrated defense network. At the same time, Ankara must weigh the risks of alienating Moscow, a partner with whom it shares both cooperation and rivalry in multiple theaters, from Syria to Libya to the South Caucasus. Navigating this delicate balance requires Ankara to act with extreme caution, ensuring that any reversal does not provoke retaliation or undermine its broader foreign policy goals. Within NATO, the removal of the S-400 from Turkish soil would be welcomed as a relief to a long-standing security headache. Ever since Ankara's acquisition, concerns persisted that operating Russian-made air defenses alongside NATO aircraft could compromise sensitive data and undermine alliance cohesion. A buyback would eliminate this risk and remove a persistent source of mistrust within the alliance. However, it also highlights NATO's vulnerability to external manipulation. Russia's original sale of the S-400 succeeded in sowing discord among allies. Its potential buyback would prove that Moscow can use the very same deal to recalibrate power dynamics, reminding NATO that even within its ranks, strategic dependencies can be exploited. The regional consequences of such a transaction are far-reaching. Greece, Turkey's long-standing rival and NATO partner, would watch closely, mindful that Ankara's decision could shift the regional balance of power. Ukraine, locked in a brutal conflict with Russia, would be alarmed at the prospect of additional S-400 deployments near the front lines, strengthening Moscow's ability to challenge Western air operations. Middle Eastern nations, some of which have explored S-400 purchases themselves, would carefully study how Ankara's reversal affects their own defense procurement strategies. The deal could influence broader patterns of arms sales, diplomacy, and alignment across the region, especially as Gulf states weigh partnerships with both Western and non-Western suppliers. Beyond military strategy, the broader geopolitical implications are difficult to ignore. For Washington, a Russian buyback would present an opportunity to reset ties with Ankara, yet it would also reinforce suspicions about Turkey's long-term strategic orientation. For Europe, it would ease one concern but not erase the memory of Ankara's independent course over the last decade. For Russia, it would demonstrate resilience, proof that despite sanctions and international pressure, Moscow remains capable of leveraging arms sales as instruments of statecraft. Ultimately, the entire episode illustrates how advanced defense systems like the S-400 are not merely tools of war but powerful symbols and bargaining chips in the shifting landscape of global power politics. Whether or not the buyback materializes, the debate surrounding it underscores how far-reaching the consequences of a single arms deal can be. What began as a bilateral transaction in 2017 has since reshaped Turkey's relationship with NATO, redefined its defense posture, and given Russia new tools to challenge alliance cohesion. Now, with the possibility of the S-400 returning to Russian hands, the next chapter in this saga could once again alter the balance of power in ways that extend well beyond Ankara and Moscow.